Okay, everyone. I think we're going to get started now because it's 12 o'clock. So welcome to another game dev meeting, and today is the meeting like we've been waiting for. It's the game pitch meeting and if you're unfamiliar with what the game pitch is, it's pretty much where we have it's pretty much our semester-long project where we have team leads present to the club an idea for a game that they would like to have worked on for the entirety of the semester. And you as members are free to join whatever team you're most interested in. And we think it could be like a great opportunity to have fun, like gain experience, and also potentially have something to put on your resume. And today we're happy to say that we have a lot of game pitches to go through, but at the same time that unfortunately means that we're going to be pretty short on time today. So we asked the team leads to please try and keep your presentations to under 4 minutes. And also we most likely won't have time for questions. So if you have any questions for any of the team leads, we have multiple threads on Discord, and you could just ping the team lead there and ask your question there. And so before we get started with the game pitches, we do have a few announcements to make. Next Tuesday, our meeting is going to be a game pitch team social. So whatever game pitch team you decide to choose, you could come next Tuesday and just get to know your team members, form a bond with them, and hopefully become friends with them and just have a good time. Get to know them, and it'll be a better experience for all of you throughout the semester. And we're gonna have multiple team activities and games, and there's gonna be a prize at the end too. So we hope you'll all attend that one. And this Friday we're gonna have a workshop on the game engine RenPy, which is a engine that is primarily good for things like visual novels and dating simulators. It's pretty easy to learn, even if you're not too experienced in programming. It could be a great engine to start off with, and it's going to be online through Discord only at 3 p.m. And so just please download RenPy before the meeting too. And also, if you're interested in becoming a VIP member, you can come talk to either me or our president, Larry. And one thing to note is that if you're interested in running for one of the board members or becoming an officer for this club next year, then becoming a VIP member will make you eligible to do that. So if you're interested, then please come talk to me or Larry, or send us a DM on Discord. And I'm going to show you how to join a game pitch team. So after today, it's pretty simple. You just go into Discord and oops.
Scroll the other way.
Oh. And then you just go into the Get Your Roles channel, and then whichever team you're interested in joining, like let's say you're interested in joining Neon Navigator, you just click on this and react to it, and now you'll be given that role and you'll have officially joined the team. And also, here in the lobby, you're gonna see the threads for each team, and this is where you can drop any question you have for the team lead. Since we probably won't be having time today to answer them in person, we'd like for you to ask them through Discord and these threads. Okay, and now we're gonna get started with the first pitch, the first team one, which is Neon Navigator.
Hello everybody, my name is Keshav and I would like to present you a Neon Navigator. It's a sort of 2.5D platformer, but I'll expand on that later. So I'm using the cyberpunk as an aesthetic because, well, it allows for a lot of creative freedom, and in modern pop culture it's been used for games like Cyberpunk 2077 and for more TV shows. There's a lot of areas to expand upon and world build. And the premise is you have a gun and there's a lot of shiny lights. It's kind of like Jetpack Joyride, where you're breaking into a factory and you're essentially stealing a weapon that can create parts. And now you have to break out of that factory because everybody's down to hunt you. Some of the basics, 2.5D platformer. So I'd imagine the background to be a 3D city background with more futuristic lights and everything. And it's going to be overlaid by the level design. The first level is a factory, so it's going to have window outcrops that allow you to look into the background and see all the more utopic settings, while the factory is more of a rundown, dystopic area. And then it's going to be a puzzle solver as well. And that's where the path mechanics allow you to traverse a level, not just basic crossing platformer, but you have to essentially clear chambers each time to unlock the further areas of the level. And it's a resource management. You can create paths, but you have a finite amount of energy to build them. And if you run out of energy, well, you're stuck and you're going to be caught. In essence, it's a breakout and build your way across to get to the end. You have to dodge lasers, solve puzzles, and cross bridges, and essentially get to the end to survive. Inspirations of this game were Portal, essentially, for the puzzle solving and that, and the whole setting. Tron for, how you can create walls with the bikes, and to platformers like Sonic, which use a lot of the game mechanics to design the levels instead of having just a basic level with the platformer mechanics, something like Mario you would have. So the MVP is having a basic platformer with movesets like crouch, jump, and etc., and one entirely fleshed out level with various different mechanics that allow the players to learn about how path building works and how you can use it to traverse the areas. A simple soundtrack, a synth, and sound design, and just some simple path building interaction mechanics. I have written some drawings of how some of these mechanics might work. So this main one in the middle is you build a path, you can jump across it and cross a huge gap that you won't be necessarily able to easily jump across. You can use it to slide down and jump to another platform in a way to conserve your energy instead of just building your platform all the way out. You can deflect lasers, which can be used to unlock buttons, levels, or destroy walls, and you can drop down into more secret areas. What I want to encourage in this sort of level design is exploring alternate routes instead of one straightforward route from point A to point B. It's seeing how people can use this limit of energy, the energy meter, to find new ways to cross the levels. Some of the expansions above the MVP is more levels, like the main facility and skyscrapers scaling, which I envision is more of a story building time. And it's got different types of paths. There's speed that accelerates you, jumps to make this ground more springy, I guess. And affections on the path, so it's not necessarily the same way each time, because creating a path from point A to point B is going to be pretty simple and easily learnable, but if you have some effects attaching to it, then you suddenly have to figure out how path building actually works and how you can get around it and learn. And then there's collectibles, encouraging deviations from the norm, because generally players like to go the easiest way. And then having enemies and projectiles to look out for. And then a shifting perspective. Using the 2.5D platformer, you can shift perspectives into more 3D settings, or using the orthogonal perspectives a lot of platformers can traverse into. For a potential team, I'm looking for some 2D and 3D artists for symbols and then building the levels itself. A musician, one is fine, but I would like to have more to develop a more complex soundtrack. Some dedicated level designers, because for platformers like this, I think it's a lot more important to how you design the level and how the player's going to go through it, rather than just the mechanics have been present. And these level designers will work closely with programmers to have a set amount of mechanics and then building upon them. And then anybody else. Some potential tools I was looking at is Unity and Blender, but I'm open to all other engines as well. That's going to be all from me.
And then just a reminder, if anyone has any questions, you can go to our Discord server on the lobby chat. There should be threads available for any questions.
And now we have Team 2, which is Work in Progress Horror Game.
So this is a horror game, obviously. I'm Josh, by the way. I'm going to start off by showing you this demo. So this is something we cooked up over the break as a prototype for what the intro of the game will be like. So the context is you're a work-for-hire person. You go to this desk and get assignments. You take a train, go to a farm, do chill, Stardew Valley stuff, water crops, harvest carrots, all that kind of stuff. The idea is after a couple back and forths, there's only one back and forth in this demo to keep it short. After a few back and forths, horror elements will start being introduced at the train station. We'll keep the farm area safe for a while. That way, while you're at the farm, you build up a kind of sense of dread, wondering what's going to happen next when you reach the train station, and eventually pull the rug out from under the player by having bad stuff happen at the farm as well. So you can see simple mechanics. There's not a central mechanical idea. It's more of an immersive experience kind of thing. You're manipulating objects, you're triggering story events, so it's going to be very atmospheric and very story-driven. So this prototype was built so that we can jump straight into doing the horror elements this semester instead of having to spend a lot of time building up a base before we can get to that. So you can see when we get back to the train station, it's a bit hard to see on this projector, but in a bit you'll see it's completely abandoned, and the idea is this will be the first event that happens, and it just steadily gets worse from there. Yeah. Okay, there we go. So this is the general idea. So mechanics, like I said, mostly walking and manipulating objects. If you've played these games, it's going to be more like PT and less like Resident Evil. There's not a central mechanic. There's not a game over state, things like that. Some ideas we have, these are ideas we have for ways to get worse. I'll just cover one since, as mentioned, we're short on time. One idea would be to have a cosmic horror monster. This would be really cool because cosmic horror is a genre that deals with unknowable, unfathomable forces. So the monsters in that genre always have shifting, constantly changing forms and an ever-growing list of powers, which in my sense is like the quintessential horror experience. You don't quite know what's going to happen next. Anything could happen. So who we need? Writers. Right now we don't have a way to end the game, so we would love to hear your scary ideas, particularly about that, but anything in general. Ideally, your idea will build a sense of dread. Dread is the anticipation that something bad will happen. It's slow and it sticks with the player, as opposed to something like surprise that is startling at first, but wears off very quickly. Artists, this is going to be a very art-heavy game, so we need as many artists as we can get. The more artists we get, the greater potential the game will have. Voice actors, it would be nice to have voice actors so that we don't have just a bunch of text boxes at the start of the game. But that's something where not much commitment is necessary because we can just, if you just have some free time, we can send you some lines and you can record them at your leisure. Something I forgot to mention is writers, also not much commitment is necessary. If you just have a scary idea and you happen to be working on another project, we would still love to hear your scary idea. Finally, programmers. We have this mostly covered, but this is also a very good beginner project because the mechanics are going to be fairly straightforward. A lot of picking up, putting down objects, a lot of triggering scripted events. So if you want to work on this project and you're a beginner, this would be a good one. Finally, everyone always asks, what engine are we using? Someone asked if we were using Unreal, but we're not actually. We're using Godot. So that's one more thing. If you want to build a snazzy Godot game, this is the project to join. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Next up, we have Lewis with a generic visual novel.
I have not had an energy drink in 3 weeks, but I'm taking off my shackles.
He's unlocking his power.
Oh. No, go back! I lied, it's not generic. It's a bomb! I actually came up with this idea last night. I'm ditching Planetary Pursuits. We're making Love Bomb, baby. Who's a Promise 9 stan? Anyone here know Promise 9? Good, they suck. This is Love Bomb, Project Love Bomb. This is a visual novel, you're dating bombs. Hydrogen bombs, like the funny generic bombs. Bath bombs, honestly, why not? You can date a lot of bombs. Go next, now. That's Sarbamba. You can date that. That might be the final boss, honestly. And you might be wondering, how are we going about this whole dating shit? What's the mechanics? You got Hoonie Pop. You got like the whole like weird like what is that called again? Bejeweled? Whatever. What are we playing? What's the mechanic? Show me. Minesweeper, baby. Who's good at Minesweeper? My score on medium Minesweeper, I've done that shit in like 86 seconds, okay? I'm good at that. And all these red flags, all these mines you're avoiding are red flags in the partner that you're looking at. So, that's kind of what dating is, honestly. Okay, here's what I need. Sound effect, big bomb sound. Boom, Vine Boom. I don't want to steal Vine Boom. Vine Boom's kind of its own thing. I want writers write bomb. And music, I want a heavy metal soundtrack. You guys know Metal Gear Revengeance? You know Stains of Time? All right, I'm done. Okay, can we go?
That sounded like an actually really good game. Anyway. The real game actually pitching is still Planetary Pursuits, aka that one planet dating game, except that bomb game actually sounds really good. We might make that on the side. Anyway, oh shit, go back. There was a funny meme. Okay, funny meme. Okay, Lewis. I was gonna play this video, but we only have 4 minutes, so we're skipping it. All right. No, but actually, what is Planetary Pursuits? In case you don't remember from last semester, you play as an intern for Isaac, where your job is to communicate with personified planets. You can take them out on various dates to show them the ins and outs of human life, and you might even fall in love. It's a dating simulator as a visual novel which will be coded in Ren'Py, which we have a workshop on this Friday. Minimum viable product, who? Anyway, we're thinking of adding a new character and or new, what does that say? New branching path for this semester. Nothing is set in stone yet, so we'll be talking more about what concepts you have in mind. Thinking of incorporating like stats that affect the game. So if you guys ever played like Persona, how like some stats are like, oh, you don't have high enough guts to say this to your teacher because he sucks. That's going to affect what dialogue options you have and overall improvements to just the current game. All right. Who are we looking for on this team? Programming. Honestly, coding is super light for this game. If you guys go to the Ren'Py workshop, you'll know that Ren'Py is like super easy to work with. Honestly, if I'm being real, it's a lot of copy pasting from the script that the writers do because the writers are epic people. You know, we need epic people to help us write more scripts for our game.
Writers, please. We have 3.
This is Lewis. He's our main writer. That's him. Since our game is like a visual novel, the story is like super important. We also need artists, epic people to help design characters and backgrounds for our game. Visuals here keep players engaged, and obviously we want to make hot characters. Musicians, we need a lot, please, we need musicians.
Is Adrian here?
That's Adrian. That's our one musician, our only guy, by the way. Epic people. We need for Adrian. Woo! Okay. We need musicians. We need epic people to help compose music. Please, we need composers. It would be pretty epic if we got some help. Whoa! It just spawned randomly. Okay. So in our team we have like smaller teams. So each of the smaller teams made a slide for you guys. So here's the writing team slide. They made this. If you read, it's the tragedy of Dark Play, just the Y's on the side there.
If you want to learn about the guy, you need to join.
This is the sound team. Can we play this? Does this work? Where's the cursor? Adrian wrote the song. Woo! Okay. I'm so sorry, Adrian. We're going to the next slide. Anyway, this is our artists. All right, he spins. Okay. That's it. Wait, what? I can't get off the screen. All right. Thank you.
All right, cool.
Oh my god.
So that's Planetary Pursuits. It is not the Minesweeper dating sim. All right, next up we have Impact Miner.
Well, how am I supposed to pitch after that? All right. Hey, I'm Josh 2, and the game I'm pitching is Impact Miner. Game in 2 sentences. Bring back precious minerals with the power of brute force, and your mining pod is probably strong enough to withstand direct impact. So, for a more in-depth look at the game, we at Star Harvest Interplanetary Drilling Incorporated are pleased that you have accepted our job offer and are very excited to have you on our team. Your first assignment, extract precious minerals from the planet 6373b. Now, management believes that it is important to tell you that due to a very slight, minor logistical oversight, your standard issue mining equipment may or may not have been included on your pod. As you can imagine, this will make it slightly more difficult to extract minerals and, by extension, fulfill your mineral quota as is required by your employment contract. Your conundrum has been forwarded to our analysis team. After much deliberation and talking with our engineers, they have proposed the following solution. Your mining pod weighs 500,000 kilograms and has a top speed of 25,000 kilometers per hour. For my Americans out there, that's about the weight of 50 semi-trucks, and it can go across... It travels at Mach 20 and can go across a football field very quickly. Some words of advice before using your mining pod as a makeshift drilling device. The pod was obviously never designed for this purpose, and as it travels through the air, it will quickly lose speed. If it loses too much speed, it will lose altitude, and if it impacts the ground, we cannot guarantee that your pod will be fully operational afterwards. Furthermore, impacting minerals could reduce your speed even further. So, to counteract this, our analysis team suggests making high-speed contact with glowing energy crystals. The resultant electric shock should, in theory, most likely, refill your batteries almost immediately and send you on your way. Now, some secondary objectives. These aren't nearly as important, so we won't worry about them if we don't get to them in time. But our intelligence network suggests that there are competitor mining drones also operating on the planet's surface. Management would very much appreciate it if you gave them a gentle reminder that we at SHID hold the sole mining rights here. Furthermore, any minerals exceeding your quota may be used at your own discretion. You may upgrade your pod if you see it fit, make it go faster, perhaps add some weapons to deal with those aforementioned drones. And also, readings suggest that there is a massive deposit further down the planet. Management would very much like it if you brought it back home safely, but be warned, it will take a lot of speed and a lot of effort to crack. Now, we understand that you are in a very dangerous situation. Being planetside without your proper mining equipment is very perilous, and there is a small chance you may not return alive. But that being said, rest assured, we at Star Harvest Interplanetary Drilling Incorporated are doing our very best to ensure that you return home safely. That being said, if you know any friends or family members who are willing to replace you, who are looking for work, we have some job openings ready for them. Software programmers, we're looking for people to work on our pod's onboard systems. Designers, 3D modelers. Many of our miners have complained that though functional, a lot of our pods are extremely unsightly. Your job as a 3D modeler would be to improve pod aesthetics, thus improving employee morale and, more importantly, improving their productivity. Sound engineers. Studies have shown that music increases the productivity of our miners, so management has suggested, let's see here, some real heavy drum and bass type crap. Something to really get the adrenaline flowing and the minerals going. I couldn't agree more. And finally, quality assurance. Many of our miners have also complained that some of our pods, a few of them, contain maybe 1 or 2 slight minor defects. Some broken glass there, a busted fuse here, 1 or 2 pieces of missing mining equipment, that kind of thing. Quality assurance would constantly take our pods out for test runs and make sure that they are up to our shitting standards. Final statements before we send you off. Once again, on behalf of everybody here at Star Harvest Interplanetary Drilling Incorporated, we offer our most sincere apologies for the very grievous things that have happened to you today. That being said, you still have a job to do, and we can assure you that your pod is structurally sound and will survive a high-speed impact. Your final mission statement: maintain your speed, fulfill your mineral quota, and do your best to keep damage to company equipment to a minimum. Good luck, miner. And once again, we implore you to remember that a company is nothing without its employees. Apart, we are worthless, but together, we are shitting. Thank you. I also threw together a quick demo for this game during my Computers and Society class because, let's be real, literally anything else is a better use of your time than Computers and Society. Yeah. We really got to motivate those miners to go quick.
Some genres know for fitness motivation, art style.
Sorry, say it again?
Art style.
Art style? Oh, well, you'll see in my demo.
Do you love your mining?
We love our... Here at Star Harvest Interplanetary Drilling Incorporated, we value our employees very much. They are our most important asset. Oh, here we go. All right, so as you can see, we have our mining pod, or our mining pog, if you will. And you can see the frame rate isn't so good, but you can see we travel down this ravine, we go fast, you pretend that these crystals are all like different colors, and I'm like making strategic decisions on what to hit. I'm like, I don't want to hit that one. Oh, but I want to mine this one, boom. And then pretend that like there was a huge like particle effect, and like I collected a bunch of minerals and stuff. And as you can see, it slows me down, and yeah. And then if I touch the ground, then, oh, oof, ouch, my bones, I'm dead. So yeah, that's my game. That's my demo. Thank you.
Okay, next up we have Team 5, which is Cluster Magic.
I think Cluster might just might be on.
I'm in the Discord.
Oh, okay.
All right, yeah, just you can stream the slides, and then we'll just show it here on the presentation.
Okay. Can you guys see it?
Yep.
Okay. The game that I'm pitching is Cluster Magic. I also pitched it last semester. And so the basic like genre is like third-person MOBA, spellcasting and synergy, a lot of like comboing with teammates countering enemies. And it is a PvP, and we'll be using Unity. So the inspiration ideas is from a game called Magicka and another game called Spellbreak, where you combine spells and basically different spells interact differently and create like completely new spells. And so for my MVP, it's basically just something small, and since we already have kind of some assets from last semester, the MVP should be fairly simple. It's just a special interaction between two spells, whether it be between teammates or enemies, and a small 1v1 map to kind of like test those spells and attacks. And I kind of want to include like terrain obstacle that you can like maybe like use cover or use for like height advantage. And with the small map, we could test like more spells, and then once we get like a few like playable combat, we'll probably go on to like bigger maps. And so ideally, the MVP will have interactable terrain, which could like be affected by depending on what spells you use, and also win-lose condition and a moving crystal, which is basically kind of like the objective or like the main thing you gotta destroy rather than players themselves. And then ideally to add more players, maybe up to like 4, so that would make it a 4v4. And so the basic summary is basically like a PvP arena. So I'm sure a lot of you guys have played Bed Wars, which is like the main objective is to destroy the bed on each like team's base. So that's basically the crystal, and you in this game you can like actually move your bed basically and protect it and hide it. And I kind of want it just to be like the ARAM in League, where progressively like it gets more chaotic since people are like building up their items and things. And so I'm looking for anyone with like art, programming, and maybe sound effects. Once we get like more spells done. And yeah, that's it.
Thank you.
Stop streaming so the computer isn't gonna die. Okay. Oh yeah. Sure.
So next up we have Team 6, which okay. Oh my god, yeah. Oh fuck. I'm sorry. It's okay.
Okay, so I love 2D platformers. I've played a lot of them. So like, there's Mario. That's not 2D. That's the Super Mario Odyssey isn't 2D, but whatever. Why? Sorry. Okay, there's Celeste. There's Super Meat Boy. There's what? And there's Shovel Knight. Okay, but I have a huge problem. Like, why did they have to make the legs look so juicy? Like, holy shit. Half of Mario's budget is spent on making his cankles thick. And yeah, so basically, I don't want to have legs in a video game. So you don't get it. So we're gonna make a 2D platformer where you can't jump and you can't walk. So unfortunately, we won't get this banger. Yeah. So now we just have a game where you can't do anything. That's the pitch. Okay. Not actually, but anyways. So there's this thing called gravity. I don't experience it sometimes, so I'm sure you guys have. So the main mechanic for the platformer, instead of jumping and walking around, is going to be controlling the direction of gravity. If any of you have played this really old game, V, it's kind of like that, where you can just flip the direction of the gravity instead of jumping. Except now you can flip it in all directions. And basically you're just going to be able to control the direction of the gravity. But that won't be that fun because you're just going to be flinging yourself around randomly and you won't really have fine control of your character. So I think there's also going to be other like special moves kind of, where WASD are going to be controlling gravity. You have the arrow keys, which are going to be controlling other aspects. Like, so right and left, I think, should be like a, what's it called? Like crawl, where you like move very slowly along the ground because it'd be very difficult to do that otherwise. And then like down can be like a Kirby. Like if any of you have played Smash, in Kirby, when you do your down special, it's like you turn into a rock and then you like slam down on the ground. I think that should be like the down special. Yeah. I don't know about the up button. I have not thought that far. And also, you'll need to like turn the camera around every time that you like change gravity because it'll be pretty weird to like use directions if you, I don't know. That's just how it is. Here's the MVP. What I'm planning for the MVP is like having like around 10 playable levels, and 5 different level mechanics. I'm a huge fan of Celeste, so like, this kind of is. I kind of want to like make a game that is kind of like Celeste, where you have just a bunch of like, every like level has a theme and it has like certain mechanics in it that you learn more about. So that's kind of what I want in the level mechanics, and then maybe a selector, and then maybe a story. I don't know. Inspirations, as I said, Celeste. There's VV. I don't know how to. I don't want to say that many V's, but that's the name. And then there's Dondara, if anyone has played that. It's like Dondara. It's basically like, it's not a platformer really, but it doesn't use jumping to move around. You just click in a certain direction and then you warp to that platform, if that makes sense. And then engines, probably Godot. I'm open to using other things, but I'm used to Godot, so yeah. And people needed, we probably want 2D artists because we're making a 2D game. It would be pretty boring if we just had rectangles everywhere. Programmers, music makers. I mean, okay, people say musician, but I feel like music maker just sounds better, right? Like, and level designers. So yeah, that's it.
Next up, we have Team 7, which is Rats King.
Hello, I'm Nathan. So today I want to pitch a game called Rats King. In this game, it's going to be a top-down hack and slash. And I want to make it like a dungeon crawler, but I'm open to making it some sort of roguelike maybe in the future. For the engine, I want to use Unity, and I'll talk about that in a second. But the story, I want to make a little narrative, and in the story I want to say like it takes place on the streets of Victorian London. There remains a land of knights, chivalry, and the rat's table. So we're going to join Billy, our protagonist, the rat's bastard knight, as he journeys across the land in search of his destiny. For motivation, I picked a lot of these top-down sort of slashing games like Moonlighter, Wizard of Legend, Cult of the Lamb. Hades is isometric, but the sort of slashing mechanic is still the same that I want to kind of duplicate. And 3 of these games on the right are made with Unity, whereas Hades has their own engine. So that's the reason why I'm trying to choose Unity. And also I have more of like a background in that as well. And I like the tile input system. So for Billy's design, I was thinking, since it's more of like a medieval sort of like character design and like he's part of like a rat's table and all of that, I want to give him some sort of like crusader armor, or maybe sort of like Cute's design, like maybe like the old, the game dev club has their little like, they're going to propose a mascot, and I like how the Cute design looks. So maybe you can do something cute, like the dancing mouse at the top left or something, or top right. Over here is for the weapon. I was thinking what could be like ornate and like fancy for like a weapon fit for a king or something, but it's also miniature. And I was thinking like those felt, those little pens where like the tips kind of like open up and they're really sharp. And I was thinking they could slash with that, like have like a little combo or something. And the more he hits enemies, it kind of charges it up and then gets like filled with blood and allows him to do some sort of like special ranged attack of some sort. I don't know if you guys ever played Bloodborne, but Lady Maria, the clock tower, has like a ranged blood attack that she does, so that's why I have those photos on the left. For the level design, I just want to show like a few examples of how it could be top down. Hades is in the middle, so that's more isometric, but I like how the art looks, where it's kind of like outlined, detailed, but I was more of aiming for like a pixel art kind of deal because you can make these tile sets and import them into Unity really easy. It kind of streamlines the whole level design process, so that's why I have like the ones around the right side of the screen there. And on the left, there's some like examples of Victorian style kind of like housing that the setting might sit in. For my minimal viable product, there would be one level. Each level would have like different rooms that you can move between. There'd be like a basic movement, maybe along with like a dash mechanic. There's gonna be like a basic attack, one combo, one special attack, and then we'd have like an enemy type, maybe like pigeons or other rats or other like street critters, etc. And then we could have one boss that could be like maybe like a cat in a bag or something, you know. And I also want to have like a small narrative where we have like dialogue or maybe some sort of interactable items that kind of add a little bit of a story and a setting. Possible stretch features, maybe some interactable NPCs that have some sort of pop-up dialogue boxes that kind of adds to the story. Maybe an extra special attack, like something like a dash attack like they have in Wizard of Legend where you dash and it like attacks behind you, or in Hades when you dash and it has like leaves some sort of thing in its path. And also maybe like we'd have different room types where like one set for like treasure, one set for enemies and other things. The kind of people I'm looking for are programmers who can help with like level design, enemy AI, player mechanics, maybe some 2D artists for the sprites that we're going to use, the sprite sheets, the UI design, title screen, logo. And then I'd love to see more musicians and writers. I'm hoping to make this game more cutesy and upbeat, so maybe that sort of kind of theme. I'm looking for like a more fun learning environment. This game is pretty introductory, I believe. Like it's something that it's beginner friendly, and I'd love to see new people and like make something while learning, but also something we could be proud of. So, yeah, that's about it.
So next up is Team 8, which is Lawless.
Okay, so basically, this is just going to be 4 boss battles. That's pretty much it. It's just gonna have like, yeah, basically the setting is, you know, there's an evil dude. Well, technically he's not, well, yeah, actually, yeah, he's evil. So, evil dude is forcing you and 4 other prisoners to beat each other to death. That's pretty much it. It's also gonna have like magic powers and stuff, so you're probably gonna have someone like, you know, force feeding poison to someone somehow. I don't know. Yeah, 2D turn-based RPG. You just fight 4 strong bosses. There's no like trash mobs or anything like that. Yeah, you guys ever played like a RPG Maker game? That's basically it. Utilize different skills and manage your resources. There's no like items or anything to help you out. You're solely just kind of have to rely on your skills. And yeah, so the MVP is just all 4 characters are designed and they're all functional and you can beat the hell out of them. And the general game plan and your skills should be finalized and implemented by the end. Extras would be dialogue just to help with the world building, lore and audio, visual sound effects, and all I really need is artists, game testers, and sound effect designers. If the programming gets too much for me, then I might ask for another programmer, but that's a maybe. So, and the game engine is just gonna be Godot. Yeah, that's all it.
So next up is Team 9, which is HoloNacht.
All right. So I'm presenting HoloNacht, a HoloLive fan game. So the premise of the game is that the Hololive members go on an island for vacation. Each and the manager who you play as go looking for them and get shipwrecked. Now the twist is the island is haunted by a ghost who you must either help or fight to like complete the game. The ghost has turned inanimate objects and wildlife into like monsters which you must fight. And the ghost also has created an Evernight so that you need a light source to like move around and not get lost. So the goal is to explore the island and find all the characters. So our genre will be turn-based tactics, not strategy. So our game is set up in modules where each module is sort of like its own self-contained game. So the first we'll go through is the battle module. So the battle takes place in like a 12 by 12 grid, and there are like obstacles such as rocks and like traps. Your team consists of 5 characters, and the battle is divided into rounds, where one character can move like once per round, and the turn order is determined by the stats of the character, which can be affected by equipment and other buffs. So each character will have a unique ability and weapons, and you can also characters can also gain like special abilities depending on who they are and like who they are next to. So certain attacks may move like characters and opponents like back towards the turn order or like physically back towards the map, breaking like the special ability thing. So once a character reaches like 0 health, they go into injured mode and they cannot attack or move. So when they're injured, they can be attacked by the enemy if the enemy gets close enough and then get kidnapped. Kidnapped characters will like disappear from your team and you have to like rediscover them later. So you can also heal characters that are injured, but if you do, it will still like only have like half damage and like can only move like half the distance and are still and they can still be kidnapped. So gotta watch out for that. And if you don't have any like healing, then you may like have another character move to like pick up the injured character and then move them to safety at the expense of now you're like have like both like characters off the team. So the objective for our minimal viable product is just to do a simple battle, where the goal is just eliminate all enemies. Further on, we can like have different objectives such as like defending, collecting, like fighting retreat, or like fortification. So the next module would be the exploration module, and this is like where you like decide like which enemies to attack, where to go. Like there will be like points of interest in my map. And this is where the map that's covered by constant darkness. So you have resources such as light, food, and rest. Running out of resources will cause our entire party to become lost, and thus will like kind of respawn at a certain checkpoint at the expense of like you will lose like some of the characters along the way, which you have like rediscover. So there will be like a base camp in the map, which is just an area where you can go and like manage your characters and supplies and send them out. Later on, we can also have like alternative endings that like depends on the base camp. So the third module will be the exposition module, which is what we use to like give like text explanations of stuff. It'll be done in like a visual style format. This can be like brought up in combat or like wherever it's needed. So what we're using for the game is HTML5 and JavaScript, which I've used before during like the Halloween game jam. So I actually did some like improvements to like the base code for like more modularity and also like graphics layers, because that's like one of the things we had problem with. Our graphics and UI will be and sprites and animation will be done using Live 2D and also static images. Reason why I want with Live 2D is we can just make one rigging for like all the characters and then just like swap out all the textures and that'll be done. Sound is Howler. So the flow of the game is divided into like 3 sections. The modules is what you interact with. We also have an AI storyteller, which tells the story and also like flavors it, and also an encounter generator, which like builds the maps and stuff. So what we need for our team is we can have like artists and musicians, and also writers. So the artists will work with the UI UX programmers, who then work with the game logic programmer, and then work with the storyteller programmer. So all these should be pretty compartmentalized. So like, there's like really no reason for like a game logic programmer to like look at the UI UX code. So that way you can just like specialize on one thing without knowing how the entire program works. So yeah, that's it.
Last but not least, we have Team 10.
Okay. I know I don't have a lot of time, so I'll try to go really quick. My name's Lorenzo. If you don't know me, I'm one of the vice presidents of the club. And my game for my final sem is Pancakes and Love Letters. So what is Pancakes and Love Letters? So basically it's a simple game about making and delivering pancakes to the people that you love. And then here at Pancakes and Love Letters, we make custom pancakes and deliver it to people based on love letters that you write. So all the orders for the pancakes come in in a form of love letters that people have written for the person that we're delivering it to. And then based on like what's written in the love letter, we try to create the best pancake, and then we have to deliver it to the people that are waiting for them. So the basic gameplay loop is that you receive the order, which is a love letter, and then we do like a little cooking mini game, like Cooking Mama. And based on specific phrases in the love letter, we make different pancakes based on it. So if you say like, "Oh, you make my heart so full," it's like a really fat pancake. Or maybe some word means like a really tall pancake, or like a souffle pancake, or like lots of mini pancakes on top of each other. And then the second part of the game is delivering all these pancakes through the environment. So think like Death Stranding, where you have like a really big backpack, and you're trying not to fall over, but instead of a backpack, it's just like 15 fucking pancakes on top of each other. So, and then the scoring is based on how accurate you created the pancakes based on the love letter, how fast you got it to the people, and then like how intact the pancakes are after delivery. For the MVP, we just need to create the systems to create the pancakes, which is like the little cooking mini games, and then delivering the created pancakes. So that would be Cooking Mama and Death Stranding. And then we'd like to have 2 different terrains and 2 different levels based on these systems. And then stretch goals, have a storyline, add more different pancakes, add more environments, and voice acting. And then these are some inspirations that I've gone over before. I never played Papa's Pizzeria, but I've seen people play on YouTube. So, and then for the art style, I'd like to do something like pastel and cartoony, like Link's Awakening, or Animal Crossing, or Tunic, if you've ever played that before. And in details, I'd like some programmers. I'm planning to use Unity because that's what I'm familiar with, and it's going to be a 3D game, so that's what I'd like to do. I'd like some 3D modelers and 2D artists. Some writers would be really nice, either for writing love letters or just to write dialogue between different characters. Some cute music and maybe voice actors. So an idea I had is if you'd like to be in the game, like you could submit a love letter for a certain someone, or even voice act or read out the letter in the game. So this is a game basically just as a tribute to all the people that you love in your life. So cute, fun little game. And if you're interested, please join. Thank you.
This is just a reminder that if any of these games interest you, then if you'd like to join, then you can go onto the Get Your Roles channel and react to this message and choose whichever team you're interested in. And also, if you have any questions for any of the leads, we have multiple threads that you can insert your question into. And our next meeting is going to be a social between your game pitch groups. We're going to have activities, prizes, yeah.